Hello Internet and welcome. I would like to stop already here and tell you that chemistry was one of the subjects at school that I didn't like, also wasn't good at. This said, I'm not going to claim that the information in this video is 100% valid and true. I admit that I have incomplete knowledge in chemistry, but the information I am going to share has kept me and my plants alive for a long time. I really hope that someone who is on the next level in chemistry is going to leave a comment and say how off this is or what I missed. This said, let's get going. Fertilizers come in all shapes and sizes. Some are in big canisters, others in buckets and some in bottles. What I would like to point out here, I only use liquid fertilizers. I've seen a lot of e-stores popping up where I live, and I found multiple pages where they sell allegedly hydroponics fertilizers in solid form. But as it turns out, they do not dissolve in water and give an unbalanced growth solution. For example, I've seen such e-stores selling 1 kilogram bags of iron, basically filled with rust from old cars, that they say is needed in hydroponics and ask about 20 euros for it, when the actual thing you need costs about 5 euros. Be careful and watch out. As we all know, people want to get rich overnight, and it's possible when the customers just buy their products in good faith. You might spot 3 numbers on some fertilizer containers. If you do, they are called NPK fertilizers. First number stands for N as in nitrogen, second number stands for P as in phosphorus, and the third one K stands for potassium. Nitrogen makes the plants green, so if they are pale, they are missing nitrogen. It might be also connected to improper lighting or other problems, but nitrogen is a good place to start. Phosphorus goes down to the roots and helps them to bloom, make the plant grow basically. Potassium is an universal goodness. It helps plants in every aspect. Let's take a look at the plant's life cycle. First, there is germination phase, where the plant is growing roots. Here it mostly needs iron, zinc and manganese. Second step is vegetative phase, where the plant starts to actually grow. This is where the green plant starts to rise. Needed elements are iron, zinc, manganese, copper and boron. Third step is reproductive phase, also known as flowering phase. This is where the flower blooms. Here it mostly needs iron and boron. Last but not least, there is the senescence phase. This is where the fruit is growing. Needed elements are copper, molybdenum and boron. In the fertilizer that I use, we can see 4% of nitrogen, 0.7% of phosphorus and 3% of potassium. So the NPK numbers on the bottle are 4, 0.7 and 3. As we add those percentages up, we can see that it makes only about 10% of fertilizer container contents. You should always ask, is there something else in there that the manufacturer doesn't want you to know about, or is it just water? If it's water, what kind and how it influences the pH. My fertilizers usually come in 250 ml bottles, and the instructions say that I have to use 4 ml of fertilizer per 2 liters of distilled water. This means that my 80 liter container needs only 160 ml of fertilizer. That means that I can use the 250 ml bottle to mix up 125 liters of growth solution. You might see that there are some elements that I didn't point out in any steps of the plant's life cycle. These elements are Ca, as in calcium, holding together the cell walls of the plant. When deficient, new tissue such as root tips, young leaves and shoot tips often exhibit distorted growth from improper cell wall formation. Mg stands for magnesium, is the powerhouse behind photosynthesis in plants. Without magnesium, chlorophyll cannot capture sun energy needed for photosynthesis. In short, magnesium is required to give leaves their green color. Magnesium in plants is located in the enzymes in the heart of the chlorophyll molecule. S stands for sulfur. In plants it helps to form important enzymes and assists in the formation of plant proteins. It is needed in very low amounts, but deficiencies can cause serious plant health problems and loss of vitality. So, how to pick your fertilizers for growth solutions? First of all, I hope this video gives enough basic knowledge of what you need. Second of all, take pictures of ingredients of the fertilizers in stores, come back home and compare them. If there is no such information given, then ask for it. In some stores, if you ask something like, is this fertilizer good for hydroponics? People will say, yes, of course. But if you ask something like, is, for example, 0.03% of zinc enough for the plant's reproductive phase, and they answer yes, then please put the product back and get out of that shop. Zinc isn't necessary for that phase of plant's life. Such people are selling without knowledge, and you can't keep it against them, because their job is to sell and generate profit. On the other hand, if they answer you, I'm not sure, or I don't know, you can trust them and find out yourself from forums or smarter friends. Last part should also cover points 4 and 5. Point 6. Validate the stores you buy from. I suggest you call them or talk with an employee face to face. Otherwise, over email for example, they have time to use the internet and find good enough information that makes you believe that it's actually something that you need, what might not always be the case. Well, sorry for all the pessimistic and conspiracy stuff, but I've been deceived multiple times and it almost pushed me away from growing, since it made me feel like I can't do it and I do it all wrong when actually I was sold the wrong products and I don't want something like this to happen to you. Plants grow if you give them the right ingredients and conditions to grow in. If you use something that is not right, they will die or not grow. It has nothing to do with you. That's all for this slideshow-like episode. If you have any questions, shoot them at me in the comments or on Instagram. If you want to be notified about my new videos, then hit subscribe. In the next part, we are going to actually start planting and getting things ready for growing in hydroponics. Remember to keep them growing.